How's it going, YouTube? This is Weston's Toys and Collectibles, and today we are taking a look at Scavenger. And you notice some things missing here, but basically he comes with a couple things. He comes with his bucket, of course, and this attaches right here to a 5mm post, which makes it very versatile. Makes it if you wanted to take this off and, like, I don't know, attach it to somebody else or something. Also, it gives it a swivel. And then he comes with his rifle. Or his blaster, I guess. Pretty cool. It looks like a 4mm post hole here, which is weird. There's a lot of these on these guys' weapons. Like, some of them have just the standard, like, 3mm ports, so they can be attached to, like, small pegs. He has the same on hooks. But yeah, like, some of them have these weird post holes that are like, or little ports that are different sizes. Like, this is a 3mm and that's like a 3.5. Yeah, because that one's like blast effect compatible, at blast effect size, and this one's a little bit bigger. So some of these just have, like, kind of, that one doesn't really have anything, and that one doesn't. So yeah, this one and this one just have oddly sized holes on them, and I don't know why they put that there, because it doesn't, like, correspond with anything. Like, this one here, you can attach it to the spot there on top, but yeah, I don't know why this other port exists. This can plug into a post hole, or a little 5mm post port, whatever, here on top. So that works. And then it is blast effect compatible. You reach over here and grab one. Sorry. Yeah, it is blast effect compatible. Nice deep connection. I think this up here is also yeah, so if that served any purpose. So yeah, that's the blaster. It's kind of got this little mag off to the side, scope, nifty little thing. For his vehicle mode, so here he is in his excavator mode. Looks pretty good in this mode. It doesn't roll, it doesn't sit flat either. For some reason it does wobble a bit, but that's alright. Here he is with the G1 Scavenger. And so you can see where they got a lot of the details, took a lot of the details from and stuff. Yeah. On him, he has this post here that I think, I'm not sure exactly what this post was for. I know you could attach the gun here, and then the arm piece, which I have right here. You can put the drill on there and then attach this here on the original. It's loose, but yeah, it just kind of sits there. I've never been sure what this post back here is for. Likewise, we can take this arm bit from that came with hook and long haul, and it can also attach here. So you can kind of replicate the G1 look, the G1 toy look, where you can attach the arm onto here. Pretty cool. Set that back to the side. More comparisons. So here is Scavenger, and here is Hook. in the long haul. And we're going to have to pan out for this one, but here's Mixmaster's Wavemate, Scrapper, and then let's go ahead and go to 0.6, and we can fit Bone Crusher in right there. And there are the Constructicons now, all complete, all 6 of them, and they look good. They look great. Yeah, I think the vehicle modes look really good for these guys. They're kind of out of scale with each other, but that's not too big of a deal. Getting these guys out of the way so we can go over transformation. His transformation's kind of similar to Bone Crusher, but also a bit different. He does do his own thing. So to start, and this is very similar to the Combiner Wars one as well. But yeah, to start, we're going to go ahead and bring the bucket back. And then flip this canopy over. And then we'll turn our attention to the treads, and we'll go ahead and pull them out. And then bring it down and around, like so. We'll do that on both sides to get them out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and open up the feet. And so there's the legs done. Now I'll come back around here. We'll start on this side. There's more room. You want to pull the tab back here out. There's a tab right there that plugs into the back here. So pull that out and bring this all the way forward, and it will click into place. And we can bring the fist out now. So there's one side, and you want to bring it forward like this. We'll do the same thing on this side, except this kind of gets in the way a little bit. So I'll bring this out. We'll bring the arm up kind of as much as we can. There we go. It gets past there, but it does get kind of hung up on that hinge. But if you kind of just maneuver it a little bit, it'll come out just fine. And then clip that into place. And then flip out the fist. And then we'll bring that forward. And then we can bring the canopy now and push it all the way in. And it'll click into place. And then bring the bucket up. And it kind of sits flush on his back like that. And now you can see he's missing his head. So we'll go ahead and open up the chest. Flip out his head. And then close the chest back up. And there is Scavenger complete. Go ahead and give him his weapon. And yeah, so there's Scavenger, and he looks really good. I mean, he's not the greatest of the designs here, but he's definitely, you know, he looks better than Bone Crusher. He looks a bit better than Hook, but as for, you know, his design, he's very, very faithful to the G1 cartoon. He does kind of look like he has a big purple diaper on, which is kind of off-putting, but for what they had to do to implement the combination and everything, I feel like it's kind of a necessary sacrifice. I mean, it's not the biggest problem, like it's not the biggest eyesore in the world. Articulation, his head is on a ball joint, but you don't get a whole lot out of the ball joint except for a swivel. And then because of the transformation joint, he can look down a little bit. Yeah, so you don't get a whole lot out of it. Shoulders are on ball joints. I really wish they hadn't done ball joints for the arm guys. They could have done hinge swivels and stuff, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of ball joints in Transformers, Deluxe and higher scale. Especially since they've been, you know, Hasbro's been knocking it out of the park with, ever since Siege, with all the hinge swivels and stuff. Like, this is a sturdy figure. because it has all the hinge swivels at deluxe price point. And this guy, who is, you know, essentially uh, two core class figure, legend class, whatever it was called at the time, has all these ball joints, and he's just not as sturdy as a figure that was designed with hinge swivels. And it's the same thing with like the Insecticons. I feel like if the Studio Series would do hinge swivels on their deluxe figures, especially in the more so in the Studio Series line, 86 line, it would be a lot better. Like, I had the same issue with Braun, and this guy's about to get redecoed as Outback. But these ball joints in the shoulders, and they're just so loose, like they just wobble all over. So I'm a huge opponent of ball joints in deluxe figures. Some of the more recent figures have had more highly toleranced ball joints, like Bumblebee here. Bumblebee's fantastic. He just has the ball joints in his shoulders, and they're not loose. But I feel like most of the time ball joints get loose over time. So yeah, so he's got the ball joint shoulders, ball jointed elbows, so you can get all the range that you need to out of them, and then swivels because of the ball joints. Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of but you get 90 degrees and stuff like that. This turned into a bit of a ramble. Sorry. He does have ball jointed hips as well, and I see why they did ball jointed hips, but I do also think if they'd done hinge swivels here, it probably would have turned out better. I'm not sure how they would have worked it out with all the combination and stuff, but I still think it would have been better than ball joints. He has the same locking knees as Bone Crusher had, so I'm probably going to end up trimming these down like I did on Bone Crusher, just because they're really tight, and that's to unlock his knee. And I feel like they shouldn't have been that tight. This side's about just the same. Yeah, that's about it. His hands are painted because they molded his hands in black. So the hands are on the same mold as the head and the torso and stuff. I kind of wish they would have been able to put him on the same mold as the green. That way they didn't have to paint them, because they look kind of, since they're painted, they look kind of, off. The color's a bit off, which, I mean, just these two plastics here also, the color's off, but the hands are way off. And then this paint's going to chip. It's going to chip. So I wish they'd used the paint in a better location, like maybe more details on the chest or something. For our standard size comparisons, we'll have Optimus, Bombshell, and then our Siege Megatron. So you can see how he stands up to them. Get these guys out of the way. And so here he is compared to his G1 counterpart, G1 Scavenger. So you can see, a lot of the details here come across into the new figure. The purple diaper, silver chest. You kind of get the armature here that's for the for the combined mode. Yeah, so, and then if you come to the side, you can see, he's got the bucket hanging down, because it's kind of flipped all the way around, this guy's very much a downscaled version of the Combiner Wars version. with, you know, some modifications. And then here he is with his teammates. Here he is with Mixmaster. Here's Scrapper. Here is Hook, Long Haul, and Bone Crusher. And so you see they are pretty uniform looking team. They all look real good as a team together. So come up here a little bit. Yeah, so they look pretty good together. They definitely look very much like their G1 cartoon counterparts all together. And just, yeah, they look great as a whole. There's only a couple of them I would say would be good standalone figures. I don't think Scavenger's one of them, honestly. Yeah, so now there's only one thing left to do, and that is to get down to his combination. At least his combine mode. And then I think I'll combine them in another video, but we want to definitely get to his combine mode, so. Oh, and real quick, I was talking about Bone Crusher's knees. So I shaved down the tab. I cut that tab out. So now they still kind of lock there, but they don't have to get over a really like hard point. Same with this side. So I also did the fix where you take him apart and then flip this joint around to fix, you know, factory mistake, and it fits together. This actually sits flatter on his back now because it wasn't sitting flush before, and now it sits flush. So yeah, so transforming him, basically all of the Combaticons, you want to go back to their vehicle mode. So to start, we'll go ahead and get him transformed back to his excavator mode, or at least halfway there. I'll flip his head back in. Bring this back, bring his arm, unclip, bring his arm down, clip it into place. This is kind of tricky, you gotta get the hinge into that slot. And then, same with this side, bring it back, tab it all in. Now here's where we're going to deviate a little bit. What we're going to do is, go ahead and close his feet up, but we're going to take this center section here of his chest and pull it out, and you can see it's going to take this part with it. And just bring this all the way out, like so. And now we can take his legs and put them into their configuration. And then just like on Bone Crusher, he has this plate that comes out, and then this foot will flip, this ankle rocker there will flip down. And forgot to mention, he does have ankle rockers. The legs are exactly the same as Bone Crusher, so yeah. And then rotate this like so, and then I like to flip the bucket. I like to flip that bucket in and then flip it down like so. Nice compact arm. And then we'll take this again that we had that came with Hook and Long Haul, transform it into its wrist mode, and attach right there. You know what, we do have time, so yeah, we'll go ahead and combine them in this video. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set him off to the side because we're going to start with the legs, which are Scrapper and Mixmaster. And I went over all of the transformations to combine modes in the individual videos. So If you want to see how to transform each of the guys into their combined modes, you just go to the individual videos. Yeah, so here's our legs, and then we're going to take this side here. We're going to slide this on like that, and then these will clip together and then clip forward. And so there's a scrapper attached, and then we're going to take this section here. This will slide in right here on Mixmaster and then close up. And so there are the legs attached. And we'll come up here because there's going to be multiple connection points here for connecting hook to long haul. So on hook, there's this clip, then there's a slot here, there's a slot here, and then there's a tab here and a slot here. And so each of these connections will line up with something on here. So this big square is what we want to line up first, and that's going to go into a hole on top of the cabin here. Everything else will pretty much line up after that, but once we get that in, we can line this square up with the foot of hook, and then that will clip in. And now everything else should line up. It's just these 3 tabs. There's 2 tabs, one on each of long haul's arms back here, and then there's a tab, the tab on hook's wrist that goes into the kind of hooded roof thing for long haul's vehicle mode. And so that'll all tab together like so, very nicely. And so there's the first 4. Next we'll go ahead and bring in Bone Crusher. And Bone Crusher I did tighten up. I did open this up and tighten up the shoulder joint as well. So that's a lot tighter than it was. Used to be just a floppy mess, but now it's very tight. So in addition to, fixing this hinge here, which also kind of left the arm at an angle like that, fixing that, straighten that out, and then fixing this tightened up this joint. Anyway, this channel here, we'll go over this block right here, and then there's a slot here, and actually I forgot to do the panel here. Don't forget these panels. But anyway, there's a slot here that will go over the tab here on long haul's arm. So that just very tight connection. So there's one arm, and now we'll bring in our Scavenger and do the same thing on this side. And it doesn't want to tab into long haul's arm. I don't know if it's just the way things line up, but on my copy at least it doesn't tab in. So finally we'll bring in the chest plate, and I think I've shown how to do this, but these just tab in to the sides here. And then there's a clip, and then there's tabs here, and there's a big slot here that goes over the 2 little tabs up here on hook. So we're going to go ahead and start by clipping it onto the front here of long haul, and you can bring it up, and it'll tab in, tab in, tab in, and there is Devastator completely assembled. And he looks good. He looks pretty good. Yeah, the legs are a bit weird because they're offset, but in hand it doesn't look too bad. There are upgrades if that bothers you too much. It doesn't bother me too much, so I'm not too worried about it. Articulation, I guess, is where we'll start. His head's on a swivel. It just swivels 360. Shoulders can go out that far. I think if you get this bucket here up, you can get a T-pose. So, yep, pretty good there. Swivel here and swivel here. Elbows, you have it inward, motion here on both sides due to the transformation. You get an outward on this side just because it's completely open here. And then elbows bend to less than 90 degrees, which isn't ideal. Yeah, it's not ideal, but with all the bulk, it's just how far it'll go. Wrists swivel on a peg. They're on a 5mm post, so they can be interchanged. I know some DNA I think is doing drills, so that's a good. It's good to see that somebody's doing the drills. Fingers do open. Base pin knuckle. He does have a swivel at the waist. Very sturdy. And then the legs, and this is also part of the transformation, leg articulation. You can go forward that far, back only that far. There's a bit of give between the clicks, so you get that little bit of give there, but yeah. So that's as far back as that leg will go. Very tight ratchets on that. And then he does have a pretty good, decent spread. Can't really sit flat because of this panel back here, but yeah, pretty decent split. Both sides do swivel 360 degrees. Show on this side as well. And then both sides do have a knee joint that bends to 90 degrees. Kind of get out of the way of the butt flap. But yeah, it does bend to 90. There's an issue on this side. This isn't the most stable connection. But it's everything's supposed to clip into place. And if he's standing, stock still, he's all right. Yeah, but otherwise some of this stuff on Scrapper, likes to come undone a little bit. He has ankle rockers on both sides. They go that far on this side and then that far on this side. So you can get decent spread with his feet still flat. Scrapper's not exactly flat, but there you go. So yeah, pretty well articulated for a combiner. Now you're probably wondering what to do with all these weapons. I like to store them on the figure, so I take Mixmaster and Long Haul's blasters and I stick them on to Mixmaster. So he has this one. So I stick his weapons onto him, and then I stick his arms down. I keep his arms down usually. And then I take Scrapper and Hook's guns, and I stick them onto Scrapper back here. And then as for Bone Crusher gets his gun here, and then Scavenger gets his gun here. And then speaking of guns, there is one more. We got the big blaster. And I showed this off in Scrapper's review because it comes with Scrapper. Yeah, so these guns it's two combined into one. Handle here. And it plugs into his hand, but it's very loose. As you can see, it's a very loose connection. In fact, there, shake it a little bit and he drops it. But yeah, so there's his blaster. But he holds it. It kind of looks small, to be honest. I think it should have been a little bit bigger. I don't know. It looks small to me. And then I think we can get our quick comparisons out. Here is, Studio Series Optimus. Here is Bombshell. And here is Siege Megatron. So you can see how he compares with those. Voyager comes up to about here on his hips. So, and then a Deluxe will come just above the knee, and Optimus comes to about here, halfway on his waist flap or hip flap, whatever. And then we'll go ahead and grab some of our other recent combiners. So here he is, and I think I showed him already next to Superion. I think I put him in the Superion video, but there he is with Superion. Here he is with Menasor. Here he is with the Combiner Wars Bruticus with the Perfect Effect upgrades. God, these things are so rickety. Yeah, so there he is with the Combiner Wars Combiner. I can't wait to replace this thing. Here he is, just because I have it. Here he is with the DX9 Hawkeye. And then the one everybody wants to see. Just gotta get Scavenger back into his arm configuration. Here he is with our G1 Devastator. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so how far we've come in 40 years. Fantastic. They look really he looks so good, honestly. I had my apprehensions on it because it was like basically a shrunk down version of this Combiner Wars, just from seeing, you know, Scrapper and was it Bone Crusher. But after seeing how they did, you know, Long Haul with this special, you know, this trailer piece that becomes the thighs and waist, I was more apt on, you know, wanting it because it, you know, it looked so much better for it. So yeah, fantastic set. If you can get them, get them. They are great together. If you want like individual ones for standalone, I don't think these guys are good for that. Just go like third party or something. But as for a combined whole, this thing is fantastic, and I definitely think everybody should get one. It's just really great. Yeah, it's got some flaws here and there. It does kind of look kind of weird in proportion wise, but for the most part, this is the most accurate G1 cartoon Devastator you can get from Hasbro right now. So I definitely recommend him. So this has been Weston at Weston's Toys Collectibles, and this has been my review of the Studio Series 86 Devastator. Finally finishing up the second combiner of this year, and eagerly waiting to finish up this combiner. Brawl and Blast Off look fantastic. But yeah, this has been my review of the Studio Series Scavenger and Devastator. And I'd like to thank you all for watching, and until next time, till all are one.